Welcome. In this demo, I will show you basic Docker commands step by step. First, let's check if Docker is installed. Docker ---- version. This shows a quick version number. Docker version. This shows two sections. One is client section and the other one is server section. Client is nothing but the tool where I am typing commands like the command line, and server is the Docker engine, which is a background process that pulls images, creates containers and manages everything. Think of the client as a remote controlled and the server as the engine doing the work. Next, let's see if we already have any images. Now check for containers. Docker ps-a to see all containers, even stopped ones. Docker ps to see only running containers. At this moment, we don't have any images or containers. Let me clear the screen. Let's run our first container. Docker run hello world. If the image is not found locally, Docker will pull it from Docker Hub and then run it. We can observe here, unable to find image hello world locally and pulling it from the library. I will quickly open the Docker desktop to show the new image and container. This is the container and the container ID starts with 6B9C and images. We have the hello world image here and the image ID starts with 54E. Let me clear the screen again. Let's check Docker images and Docker ps-a. So we have the image with the image ID and the container with the container ID. Now I will try to delete the image directly. Docker RMI and the image ID. It will throw an error because there is a container still linked to it. First, we must delete the container. Docker rm pass the container ID. Now delete the image again. Let's check Docker images and Docker ps-a. It's done. Let's quickly check the Docker desktop again. There are no images and there are no containers. Let me go back to the terminal. Let me clear the screen. Now let's try an interactive container. The -i flag is for interactive mode and -t gives a terminal. Now we are inside the container. Let me go to the another terminal. Let's check Docker ps. See, the status is up and running. Let me go back to the other terminal again, and now we are inside the container, and let's try simple Linux commands. ls to list files, pwd to print the current directory, whoami. To see the current user, I am the root user, and let's print something like some echo statement. Echo hello from inside container. When done, we can type exit to leave the container. Exit. And let's check docker ps. There are no running containers. And docker ps-a that gives the stopped container. And let me go to the another terminal and we can start the stopped container. Docker start, give the container ID. Let's check docker ps. See, the status is up and running. And now we can perform the cleanup steps. We can stop the container and then remove the container. Docker stop, pass the container ID again. Stopped, docker ps-a, and now do docker rm and pass this container ID again to remove the container. Docker ps-a, there are no containers at all. And docker images, remove the image again. The docker rmi image id, pass this image id. Now let me clear the screen. Docker images, there are no images. Docker ps-a, there are no containers. So let me run the hello world again. Let me clear the screen and docker ps-a. So there is another command called prune command. To do some cleanup process to remove the stopped containers, we can do docker container prune. So this gives a warning. This will remove all stopped containers, and docker will ask for confirmation. Type y to continue, and see the total reclaimed space, this much. And there is another command called docker system prune. This will remove all stopped containers, all networks, all dangling images, unused build cache, everything. And let's type y to continue. And let's check the docker desktop again. Let's see the docker images. Okay, we have an image. Let's remove this image. Docker ps-a, there are no containers and there are no images. Let's check the docker desktop. There are no containers, there are no images. So today we learned about Docker client and server, checked images and containers, ran hello world, explored an interactive Alpine container, cleaned up everything, and learned how to restart and prune. These are the essential Docker commands for getting started. Thanks for watching.